I was in my room packing for my summer vacation that I was about to embark on in the next few days. I couldn't help but think only about all the fun that was bound to happen. On June 25th, my family and I drove to JFK Airport, boarded on the plane, and flew to Hong Kong. From there, we then flew to Manila Airport and arrived in the Philippines. As we drove to my Uncle Jason's house, we passed by a street with children playing on the dirt roads with no shoes at all, but were having the time of their lives. We finally arrived at my uncle's house, unpacked our things into the guest rooms, and settled down. The next day, my brother went to the park to play basketball with his old high school friends. That night, my cousin and I went to the park to watch my brother and his friends play. I realized that most of the people on the court were wearing either flip-flops or no shoes at all. Only a few of the people playing were wearing sneakers. Then I looked closer, and I realized that my brother had given away half of his shoe collection to his close family and friends. Seeing this touched my heart. The next day, my aunt brought me with her to the market where they sold their fish. Once we arrived, there were several other stalls with several families who ran them. Their children ran around the marketplace with the other children, and once again were having the time of their lives. They chased each other around and played tag while being careful to not knock down other stalls. I observed them from afar and enjoyed seeing their radiating happiness. The next week, we drove to Lake Cebu to my Uncle Maui's house. As I looked out the car window, there were children playing on the sides of the unfinished road. Some were laughing and telling jokes with each other. Others were playing with the goats that were held on by a leash, and some were playing a game with their flip-flops. Seeing all the happy children somehow had given me a weird feeling in my stomach. After a few weeks of being in the Philippines, my family and I had to go back to the States. We drove back to the airport and boarded the plane. As I reflected upon my time during my vacation, I grew more and more sad. Not mainly because I missed my family back home, but instead, I realized that most of the children, who had next to nothing, were still extremely content with what they had. I took this subconscious jealousy of mine and used it to teach myself to be grateful for what I have. This vacation back home to the Philippines was more than just a vacation. It not only took me away from the long, stressful school year, but it also took me away from my ignorance and taught me a valuable lesson.